Garden eels, the sea's secret dancers. Imagine you're diving in the ocean and suddenly spot a field of moving grass on the sandy seabed. But wait a minute, it's not grass, it's garden eels. These slender animals are about as thick as a pencil and can grow up to 60 centimeters long. Garden eels are mainly found in the Indo-Pacific region, residing in burrows they create in the sandy ocean floor. Unlike many animals, garden eels live in large groups, known as colonies, which can contain hundreds or thousands of eels. Their diet consists of small creatures, such as shrimp and plankton, that pass by in the ocean currents. When faced with threats, garden eels quickly hide in their holes for protection. When it's time to mate, garden eels do something special. Two eels wrap their upper bodies together while their tails stay stuck in their own holes. So, if you ever see grass moving under the water, look closer. You might see a big family of garden eels waving to you.
Hi everyone, welcome to English for You. I'm Pat.
I'm Chickling.
And today we're going to talk about a cute and interesting animal that lives in the sea. It looks a bit like grass, but it's really a garden eel. So let's check out the article and learn more. We start by giving you this situation so you can kind of get a picture of what is going on and what this thing looks like. It says, imagine you're diving in the ocean and suddenly spot a field of moving grass on the sandy seabed. Okay, so this maybe you're doing some scuba diving, something like that. You're not going right down like hundreds and thousands of meters. You're looking down at the sand, it's light enough to see. And that's what happens when you go diving. Now, we're using dive in a slightly different way here, so let's take a moment to look at this verb. So the first thing to mention about dive is that it can have two past tense forms. You'll hear some people saying dived with ed, treating it like a regular verb, and you'll hear some people say dove, D-O-V-E, treating it as an irregular verb. Both are fine. Now, often we use the word dive to mean jump into the water, like with your arms out and so on. But in this case, to go diving means to be swimming quite deep under the water, like scuba diving or free diving when people go down without any equipment. They're going down to the bottom, that sort of thing. So it's this kind of diving we're talking about. Here's an example sentence. People dived down deep into the water to the old ship to look for interesting old items. And of course, we could say people dove down as well.
Dive 就是潜水的意思。那老师刚刚又提到它的三态就是 dive, dove, dove。可是有些人会使用 dived 也 OK 啦。好，那就像老师刚刚又提到 scuba diving， 这个就是潜水嘛。可是如果是天空呢，就是 skydiving. Have you done that before?
I have.
It's so scary.
It's kind of fun.
我觉得很可怕，它是跳伞的意思。那么 dive 如果当名词的话呢，如果在口语上，我们可以当比较低级的餐馆或者是娱乐场所。比如说 I know this place could be a dive, but the food's great. 所以想象一下哦，你在海洋中潜水，然后你看到一片会动的草。Maybe it's just grass, but no, it's actually an animal.
That's right. It's a fish if you want to be technical. The article says, but wait a minute. It's not grass. It's garden eels. So now we have a bit of description about what these animals look like more specifically. It says these slender animals are about as thick as a pencil and can grow up to 60 centimeters long. So, about sort of that sort of high but quite thin.
好高哦，其实蛮高的。I think it's quite long， 好像也蛮长的。OK， 这边 eel 就是鳗鱼。所以这个不是草哦，在动的这些不是草，它是花园鳗。那没有看到 slender 这一个字，它就是细长，或你讲一个人很 slender， 代表它很苗条的意思。它大约有铅笔这么粗，可以长到60公分长哦。
So what do we learn about garden eels next? The article says garden eels are mainly found in the Indo-Pacific region. So that's sort of the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, around sort of the different sides of Asia, that kind of thing. We also see residing in burrows they create in the sandy ocean floor. A couple of words to look at here.
Reside 这个字就是居住的意思，它是动词。So that's why people that live in a certain area, we call them residents.
Yeah, that's the noun form. You reside somewhere, you're a resident.
那如果这边老师刚刚讲 burrow 这个字，它就是动物挖掘的地动物，就是地道。这个花园鳗呢，主要分布在哪里呢？在印度洋、太平洋地区，居住在这些沙质海里的洞穴中。
Okay, the article goes on and says,Unlike many animals, garden eels live in large groups known as colonies, which can contain hundreds or thousands of eels. So that sentence started with the preposition unlike. Now it just means not like, but we use it specifically to make a contrast. It's not a verb. You don't say, I unlike this thing. You use dislike. Unlike is a preposition, and you put the contrasting item after the preposition. So unlike A, B does this. Unlike B, C does this, and so on. For example, unlike Chiquilin, I come from the UK.
Because I come from Taiwan.
Exactly.
那我们来看一下 unlike 这个单字。Unlike 这个字在这边是介系词，它代表与什么东西不一样。可是呢，我们现在口语上常常说 unlike something， 把它当动词哦，就是社群网站上面的按倒赞。所以比如说你之前有按过一个人的脸书专页赞好了，可是现在你不想看到他了， you can unlike it， 就是不要去把它按倒赞的意思。所以比如说 you can unlike his page if you don't want to see his post anymore。就像我们现在 Instagram 大家都是 follow 来 follow 去的嘛，那如果你想要退追一个人呢，一样就是 unfollow。So
we said that unlike a lot of animals, garden eels live in colonies. So most animals will live in a small group on their own, a largish maybe 30 or 40 kind of family, something like that. But a colony, this is a really large group of animals. You could also use it to refer to people, specifically if they go over to another kind of land and start living there. We definitely use it in science to talk about like cells, bacteria. There's a colony of these growing something. But a colony of animals would live in the same area, and they kind of almost behave like one large unit.
I think a lot of fish do that.
Yeah, a lot of fish. We call that a school. A really good example would be different insects. We talk about a colony of bees or ants. And they're kind of, one mind kind of controls everybody and sends them off to do those little things. You might say, for example, the farmer has a large colony of bees that help him grow crops and flowers.
OK， 所以 colony 这边是指动物或鸟类的群落。不过其实我们这个字一开始它有殖民地的意思，像 India was a British colony before.
And pretty much everywhere else was.
Yeah, 真的。所以呢，跟许多动物不一样哦。花园鳗它大部分生活在大群体中，那它其中可以包含大概数百或数千条的鳗鱼哦。
Okay, so we know that these garden eels live in great big groups, but they're also kind of stuck in the ground in their burrows, right?
Yeah.
So what do they do for food? Well, the next sentence explains this. It says their diet consists of small creatures such as shrimp and plankton that pass by in the ocean currents.
I hope they don't get hungry.
I don't think they do. I mean, great big blue whales eat plankton and they don't go hungry.
这边的 consist of something 就是由什么组成，所以我也可以讲 this book consists of 19 chapters， 就代表这个 book has 19 chapters.
And it's so these garden eels, they eat different but very small creatures. The word creature is just used to mean some kind of animal of some sort. We're not being very specific. We're just talking about animals in general.
Yeah.
So we might say many creatures live in the woods outside the village. It could be birds, insects, mammals, frogs, whatever. It's just animals, creatures.
So creature 是生物的意思，像老师刚刚讲，没有特别指什么生物，就是一个东西，一个生物。但是我们有一个片语叫 creature of habit， 代表这个人就是很生活非常规律。比如说，好 ，Emily 假如每天都周晚上10点睡觉，你就可以说她是一个 creature of habit。比如说 Emily always goes to bed at 10. She's a creature of habit.
Yeah, I'm kind of a creature of habit. I like my routines. They help me.
I think that's really good because I'm not.
Okay, so one of the animals that these garden eels would grab is shrimp. The other is plankton.
Yeah, plankton 这个中文其实蛮难的，它是浮游生物，就是那些小小 Sometimes you can't even see them, right?
No, they're so small and they kind of float around in clouds. But the idea is the garden eels kind of eat them as they pass by. So to pass by means to go past a certain place. Usually you're following a road or a path, or in this case, the ocean current. You're just moving with the water, but you're not really intending to enter that place. So if you pass by a shop, you're maybe looking in the window, but you don't go in.
Yeah.
So these creatures, these shrimp and plankton, are just sort of floating along in the water, and the garden eels would be sort of grab, eat up, eat up, eat up. They're not going out to hunt them, they're just kind of grabbing them as they pass by.
Yeah, pass by 就是经过，所以这些花园满的食物是什么呢？包括这是在洋流中经过的小生物，像是虾子啦，或者是那个浮游生物 plankton， 刚刚讲到那个字。那洋流的英文就是 ocean currents。
So that's what they eat. But what about things that eat them? Well, what does grass do? It just kind of stands there.
Oh my goodness.
But these garden eels have got a better plan. The article says when faced with threats, garden eels quickly hide in their holes for protection. So they'll just kind of drop right back into the ground. Let's look at the word threat. So a threat could be something a person says, like, I'm going to get you, I'm going to hurt you. But here we mean a thing that can harm you, a thing that can damage you, spoil your plans, something like that. Okay, there's a threat of bad weather today, means there's bad weather that could happen. It's not certain, it's just a danger. For example, we could say COVID-19 was a threat to people's health, especially older and younger people's health.
Threat 这个字就是威胁的意思，它是名词，所以如果你受到什么威胁呢，你就可以放一个 be 动词，然后 under threat of something。比如说 the railway is under threat of closure， 就代表说，可能铁路要被要倒闭了或关闭了。那么它的动词是什么呢？就是 threaten， 它也是威胁的意思。比如说 the attacker threatened the people with a gun， 嘣嘣嘣。所以面临威胁的时候，花园鳗要干嘛呢？他们就会迅速的躲回他们的洞里，这样他们就可以保护自己。
So if some big fish that's going to eat them comes by, they duck in their burrows for protection. Protection is anything that keeps a person safe from harm. Now, you could use it to refer to objects that protect you, like a helmet, that's protection. It could mean places where you're safe. I went to this place for protection. It could be actions that you take to avoid harm or danger or trouble. So, you should do this for protection, make a difficult password for protection online, that kind of thing. For example, we could say, when you're in a car, you should wear a seatbelt for protection.
Protection 就是保护嘛，那因为这些花园鳗要保护自己，所以他们就是跑到洞里面。那它的动词就是 protect， so we can say to protect A from B， 代表你要保护 A 免受于 B 的攻击，或者是免受于 B 的伤害。比如说 ，It's important to protect your skin from the harmful effects of the sun. So maybe you can wear sunscreen, or what else can we do?
A hat, put on some clothes, stay in the shade, all of that good stuff. Okay, so that's what they do to catch food, that's what they do to hide from trouble. What about when they need to make more garden eels? Well, the article says when it's time to mate, garden eels do something special.
他们
I say. There's a nice dinner, a glass of wine. I've no idea.
所以这个交配的时候，这边有一个字 mate， but in the UK mate means friend, right?
Yeah, we'd say, all right, mate, how you going? That's a friend. It's Australia as well.
But like in our article, it's used as a verb.
Yes,
是交配的意思。
to mate, to make babies.
Yeah, 所以花园鳗会做一些很特别，是 like what?
Well, we see two eels wrap their upper bodies together while their tails stay stuck in their own holes.
Okay.
All right.
They don't want to be seen.
No.
OK， 好，所以两条鳗鱼会做什么事情呢？上半身会裹在一起，可是它们的尾巴是一起留在沙洞里面的。That's really cute.
Yeah. So the article finishes up by saying, so if you ever see grass moving under the water, look closer.
It could be a snake. 没有开玩笑。
Could be.
Yeah, 所以如果你看到草呢在水下移动的时候，仔细观察一下哦，可能不是草。
Yeah, because as the article says, you might see a big family of garden eels waving to you.
Hello， 所以其实可能你看到这些会移动的草啊，它就是一大群花园鳗鱼，花园鳗。对。
Well, that is the end of our lesson about garden eels, so let's move on to our For You chat question, which is, have you ever seen any interesting animals in the ocean? What made them special to you?
Not in person, definitely.
No?
Because I'm
When you don't go near the water?
Yeah, I don't go into the water, but I see them on TV. And I'm really a big fan of like really, really, really giant squid.
Oh, okay.
And they look so cool. And
They do look pretty cool. What have I seen in the water? In person, I remember we were in the Philippines and we saw some of those quite interesting urchins, the spiky balls. They were everywhere. But probably the most fun one, this was when I was a kid and I used to go to the seaside in the UK with a load of family and cousins. So we were just in the water, in the waves, playing around, throwing a ball. And this dog came up to us and we thought, oh, okay, the dog's in the water, he wants to play. And the dog kind of jumps out of the water. And we're like,
what?
It's got no legs.
Oh, really?
That's not a dog. That's a seal.
Oh, my goodness.
There's a seal, like, wanting to play with us.
They're so cute.
And we're all like, do seals bite? Do seals eat people? Let's get out of the water.
Maybe
we're not sure because we
yeah.
never. You imagine to see a seal in a zoo or something. You don't expect one to kind of be swimming around you, interested in your ball. So we did kind of go away, but because we had no idea what was going to happen.
Was it big?
No, it was dog size. We thought it was a dog until we realized it was a seal. So that's my most interesting kind of ocean experience, and just because it was really unexpected, is what it was. Okay, that is all the time we have for today, so thanks very much for watching. For English For You, I'm Pat.
I'm Jacqueline.
And we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Dive. Carrie loves to dive into the ocean with her mask on so she can see under the water. Unlike my brother who loves to play soccer, I prefer reading books in my free time. Colony. Joseph discovered an ant colony in the sand near his apartment building. Creature. This forest is home to a number of creatures, such as black bears and foxes. Threat. The strong typhoon that is developing off the coast is a threat to the small village. Protection. Always wear a helmet when you ride a scooter so your head has protection.
智慧小补帖
Eel. Reside. Burrow. Consist of something. Plankton.